The phrase divine feminine gets thrown about so much, especially in like the new age community. And they forget to understand that the actual word divine is so sacred that they don't really understand what it means to embody the divine essence of the feminine. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. For those that are new, my name is Christina and I help empower people on their spiritual and their healing journey. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the bell notification so then you're notified of when I post a video, because it's my mission to share my message to as many people as possible. So with that being said, let's get on. So this video, I'm going to discuss how to actually embrace, and then you can begin to embody the feminine energy, your divine feminine energy. So often we think of feminine energy as a girl being feminine, and then the masculine as a man and being really masculine. But we have to remember that feminine and masculine energy all reside within every single person. Somebody might embody more masculine energy and somebody might embody more feminine energy. I don't believe in this whole 50-50 of being totally balanced. I believe we can have some kind of like little bit of a sway between the pendulum, if you want to call it that. So as long as we're not like heavily in our masculine when it comes to the divine feminine, then I believe it's absolutely and totally normal to be a bit more in our masculine, particularly if you are like a strong woman, you like business, for example. But I do see more and more people focusing on the fact, I want to be in my divine feminine energy purely for the reason of attracting a mate, being more magnetic, being more attractive to the masculine. And yes, those things do work, but when it comes to the divine feminine energy, we have to have that inner union between the masculine and the feminine in order to really embody the divine feminine, to embody both aspects. So when I refer to this, it's about embracing both your masculine and your feminine to have a whole inner union, so then you can start embodying and radiating more feminine energy. And the reasons why we don't embrace our divinity, our divine feminine energy, and create that inner union is because we are pushing away the feminine, the divine feminine, or maybe the divine masculine. And this is because of two reasons. The first reason is actually because we live in a very heavily masculine world, like the patriarchy. So women are subjected to like patriarchal ideas like hustle culture, working hard, business, capitalism, working a 9-to-5, and the feminine isn't designed that way. That is masculine structure, order, and the feminine, she likes to flow, she likes to be wild and creative. And so we take on this idea that is actually a wounded masculine idea. So then women, in order to survive in the world, they go to work, they hustle, they try and replicate that, when the feminine isn't meant to do that. So the second reason why you may be rejecting your feminine energy, your divine essence, is because of your feminine wound. And so the feminine wound is often rooted in the mother wound. And we feel heavily wounded by our mothers, so then we kind of have that wounded feminine energy. So we don't embrace our feminine energy and go to more towards the masculine. And it can work the same way if you have a father wound. So if you have a father wound, this can mean you end up having wounded masculine energy, so then you end up operating from wounded masculine energy. So what does this look like? A woman that overworks, she gets burnt out really easily, she doesn't take time for herself, somebody that just really goes hard on themselves. But we have to remember that it's not about gender. It's about the energy that is within all of us. And energy gets stored in the body. Our energy, our divine feminine and masculine energy resides in our bodies, and that energy can be wounded. So this is the main reason why we don't embrace it. But you're here to think, well, how do I embrace it? What do I do? How do I embrace it and accept it, then begin to embody that? So this is about what I said, the inner union. You have to bring together the masculine, the divine masculine, and the divine feminine, because we have to feel more balanced, not 50-50 though, feel that inner union within us so we can radiate that out. So embodying your feminine energy and embracing is about doing the inner work. It's understanding the shadow side of the feminine, understanding the shadow side of the masculine, and really allowing your femininity to come up, doing that shadow work, because maybe parts of your femininity reside in your shadow because you were told that the divine feminine, which is also sacred sexuality, sacred sensuality, because I don't even like the term divine anymore because it gets thrown about so much like it's just nothing. But the divine, the word divine itself is so sacred that I like to refer that energy, the divine, as actually sacred. So referring back to the shadow, we have that sacred sexuality, that sensuality that we pushed away because we were told that we have to be good girls. The dark feminine can reside in the shadow, and that is about embracing that wildness, that huntress, that warrior. And so when we begin to do that inner work, we allow ourselves to witness those aspects of ourselves, and then we can begin to embody that and radiate that pure divine feminine energy, because we can then begin to have a more fulfilling, more authentic life, because we are living the life, because we are now able to accept those parts of us. So for me personally, I was operating from a wounded masculine. I'm somebody that really is a go-getter. I chase, but my body just doesn't like it. My ego and my mind thinks, yes, let's do this, let's get on it, let's like hustle and have this goal and all that. But my body actually gets burnt out very quickly. I think more quickly than most. And so I get all these pains and aches and pains in my right side. And that is the masculine side, telling me that I'm overly in my masculine, I'm operating from wounded masculine energy. So what I began to do was actually allow that part in my shadow, that feminine that is more going with the flow, not like hustling too hard, not like chasing. I allowed myself and reminded myself that it's okay to slow down and go at my pace, because I will always have this idea that I want to be a millionaire, I want to like live a life that isn't what my childhood was like. Maybe I'm like kind of running away from my childhood in that sense. So for me, I've always been this person with ideas and creativity, and I think that is part of the feminine, but I would do that from a wounded masculine place where I would get burnt out very quickly. So when I began to experience kind of a feminine awakening, it was when I actually began to slow down. And when I began to slow down, I had this kind of realization that it is okay to be in my femininity, be in my divine feminine energy, and really embrace that. So then I kind of had like a feminine awakening. I would connect to my womb space way more often. I would do some like sensual dancing in the evening and just really connected to my body way more, because the mind and the ego is kind of masculine because it's logic and knowledge, but the body and the energy that flows through the body, that is the feminine. So when we get stuck up here and thinking of all these thoughts getting attached to our wounds and our traumas, that is masculine energy. And when we drop from our heads into our heart spaces and allow ourselves to feel and to witness anything that comes up, that is when we are in our femininity in the body. So the way you can begin to embrace your feminine energy, so then you can embody, because when you accept those sides of you, that it's okay to slow down, it's okay to really like embrace who your feminine side was, allow them to come up and be expressed, be witnessed, then we embody that. We embody that and we become more in our divine feminine energy. And the way we can begin to also embrace like divine feminine is, I believe, is connecting to divine feminine, like ascended masters like Mary Magdalene, looking to them for guidance and going within and connecting with them. Because when it comes to my masculine wounding, I was already feeling like I am very in my feminine. Like I wear like long earrings, I like do stuff in my hair. I don't wear makeup, but I don't really care about that. But I wear long dresses. I feel like my appearance is quite feminine. But when the way I work on a daily basis is quite masculine, I was quite wounded. But what happened was when I started accepting Jesus into my life, not in a religious way. I don't like pray to Jesus. It's not like hallelujah Jesus, but as a divine, sacred, masculine figure, ascended master. I felt a huge shift internally. I can't even describe what it felt like, but all I could describe it as was an inner union between the masculine and the feminine. It was like he healed my masculine wounding, and I just felt so whole and complete and balanced between my masculine and my feminine. It's because I was kind of shutting the divine masculine out of my life because that felt too religious. It didn't feel right. I'm operating from my wounded masculine. But then when I finally accepted him and realized, yes, he's always been there, I've always felt this connection to Jesus. It's like even as a child, like it doesn't have to be attached to any religion. And then I just felt like I completely dropped in my heart space and felt at peace. So this is how you can embody and embrace. Is about doing the inner work as always. And the thing is, if you begin to be it, you begin to have it, you begin to like, when you just embody that every day, you begin to just radiate more feminine energy. But we have to go within and see what feminine aspects we have been pushing away and denying. And if you want to go deep on more wounds, I did check out this video next where I talk about sisterhood wounding. So with that being said, I will see you in that video. Much love.